Good evening. The hour of 7 p.m. having arrived, I will call to order this regular meeting of the Keene City Council. This meeting is being broadcast live on the City of Keene YouTube channel and on Spectrum Channel 1302. The video is also streamed on the city's website and is posted by the end of the next business day, barring any technical difficulties. If you would like to receive an electronic City Council packet to reference while viewing future broadcasts, please contact the City Clerk's office during business hours or go to the city's website and subscribe to the city meetings email list. The agenda is also accessible from any mobile device. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Kate Ann Bosley.
Here.
Laura E. Tobin.
Here.
Michael J. Remy.
Here.
Randy L. Filio.
Here.
Robert C. Williams.
Here.
Edward J. Haas.
Here.
Philip M. Jones.
Present.
Andrew M. Madison.
Here.
Christy Roberts.
Here.
Jacob R. Favalasi.
Here.
Brian J. Lake.
Here.
Catherine I. Workman.
Here.
Bettina A. Chadwell.
Here.
Thomas F. Powers.
Here.
Mitchell H. Greenwald.
Here.
I'd like to recognize Councilor Powers to lead us in Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll move to the minutes from our preceding June 6th meeting. Councilor Greenwald for a motion.
Thank you, Your Honor. Move to adopt the minutes of the June 6, 2024 meeting as presented.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Greenwald and seconded by Councilor Bosley. Any questions or comments on the minutes? Seeing none. By a show of hands, all in favor? Accepting the minutes? Minutes are accepted unanimously. Relative to Council Rule of Order number 7, if there are people wearing coats tonight and feel a bit uncomfortable, you can take those off, put them on the back of your chair, and thank you for following the dress code on a warm day. Okay, announcements. Thank you. First, I want to congratulate our Human Resource Committee for the Juneteenth Freedom Day 2024 celebration that took place beginning last Friday and concluding yesterday, Wednesday. That 6-day event was wonderful. It engaged a lot of people in different manners and forms. Yesterday's concluding events with the community kitchen dinner and the event out on Central Square, which I think we had 100 people there. 100 plus.
150.
So thank you, Kat Workman, who chairs the Monadnock Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Committee, and Sofia Cunha Vasconcelos for their leadership, and it was a fun event. Thank you. I also want to thank the city staff for the ribbon cutting today on the dog park. As the manager and Andy Bohannon both remarked that this has been a long time coming. There are a lot of community contributions to make that dog park a possibility. Grant writing to finish it off, and if you haven't had a chance to see, and you probably haven't seen the final product, I encourage you to go by Wheelock Park, park near the gazebo space, and walk your way to the other side of the park, and on the other side of the horseshoe throwing pits. Anyway, it's going to attract a lot of people in Keene and their pets, and it's exciting to see how far that's come, and congratulate too the citizens of Keene who participated both as donors and as a committee to encourage that project. Upcoming events for the council, the MSFI, Municipal Services Committee, will make its final recommendations on the downtown project at their meeting on June 26th. And then the final vote by the city council on the project is anticipated for the July 18th regular meeting. A reminder to the council that the July 4th regular meeting of the city council has been canceled for obvious reasons of a national holiday. The Planning, Licenses, and Development Committee will be meeting following the next regularly scheduled meeting, which is for July 18th of the full council. PLD will be rescheduled to July 24th at 5:30. Just one of the items on that agenda is going to be the tabled rules of order. So if other councilors want to put that on your agenda, you may wish to address items there when the committee considers taking that off the table. The Municipal Services Committee then will shift its start time on July 24th to 7 o'clock. So 5:30 and 7 for those two committees on the 24th. A final reminder for the council's summer vacation is scheduled to start with the cancellation of the council's meeting on August 15th, and will include a cancellation of the September 5th meeting. The council's standing committee meetings of August 7th and 8th, August 21st and 22nd are also canceled, and then committees will start up again on September 11th and 12th. The council will then meet in its next scheduled meeting after August 1st on September 19th. And those are the announcements I have for this evening. Got two proclamations tonight, and would like to ask Sarah Green and other members of Pathways for Keene to come forward at this time.
You get to stand 20 minutes there. He doesn't like me.
Yeah. We keep our distance. So, thank you for joining us tonight, Sarah, as the president of Pathways for Keene, and bringing your board members, including Chuck Redfern, who's your photographer for the evening. And I'll read a proclamation from the city. Whereas Pathways for Keene was established in 1994 as an organization dedicated to developing and maintaining pedestrian and bicycle pathways in the city of Keene, New Hampshire, and whereas for the past 30 years, Pathways for Keene has been instrumental in enhancing the quality of life for Keene residents by promoting outdoor recreation, safe transportation alternatives, and environmental stewardship. And whereas Pathways for Keene has successfully collaborated with city officials, local businesses, and community members to secure funding and support for numerous projects, including the Cheshire Rail Trail, the Ashwheelet Rail Trail, and the Industrial Heritage Trail. And whereas collectively, Pathways for Keene has brought in hundreds of thousands of dollars for use for the previously noted projects, and in addition, Northbridge, Park Avenue Loop, improvements to the Jonathan Daniels Trail, solar trail lighting, and the ongoing maintenance and expansion of the pathways. And whereas Pathways for Keene's annual event, 4 on the 4th, their foot race fosters community spirit, encourages healthy lifestyles, significantly contributing to making Keene a more walkable, bikeable, and vibrant city, attracting visitors and promoting local tourism, and raising this year nearly $50,000. Best wishes. Whereas Pathways for Keene extends its appreciation to the following entities that help create the trail system as it exists today: the Mayor's Office, City Council, City Manager's Office, Conservation Commission, Bicycles and Pedestrian Path Advisory Committee, and Community Development, Public Works, and Parks and Recreation Departments. Now therefore, I, as mayor of the city of Keene, do hereby ask all citizens to join me in recognition of Pathways for Keene's 30th anniversary. The city of Keene wishes to honor and celebrate the organization's remarkable achievements and its lasting legacy, and celebrates the invaluable contributions of Pathways for Keene to our community. Thank you so much, and best wishes on 4 on the 4th.
30 years ago.
And not just as a photographer, but yeah, pleasure to recognize Chuck Redfern for his 30-year commitment to the organization. He is a prime sponsor and cheerleader for the organization. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Sarah. So in light of tomorrow's Boston Celtics celebration in Boston, I tried to reach Joe Mazzulla today. He was occupied. I commiserated with Keene State College's men's basketball coach, Steve Enright, to see if he could stand in for Coach Mazzulla, and he has graciously joined us for this evening. Steve, would you please join me for a moment? Thank you.
Thank you.
Meet Steve Enright. Whereas the Boston Celtics, and by the way, I got to credit my writers on this, Rebecca Landry and Counselor Favalise. I appreciate their assistance on short notice. So here we go. Whereas the Boston Celtics, founded in 1946 as one of the league's original 8 teams, have once again captured the hearts and minds of basketball fans around the world with their unwavering determination and exceptional teamwork. Whereas the Celtics' recent triumph in the NBA Finals marks their record-setting 18th championship title, solidifying their position as the most decorated team in NBA history and a source of immense pride for fans throughout New England. And whereas the Celtics players, coaches, and staff have demonstrated remarkable resilience and dedication throughout the season, overcoming challenges and inspiring fans with their passion for the game, and whereas the Celtics' victory and record-setting best season record serves as a testament to the power of sports to unite communities and foster a sense of camaraderie and celebration for people of all ages and backgrounds, and whereas residents of Keene will be joining in spirit the celebration of the team's championship on June 21st as they are heralded through the streets of Boston. And whereas the 23-24 Boston Celtics inspired us with their teamwork, selflessness, focus, and drive, now therefore I, as mayor, do hereby extend the official congratulations of the city of Keene to the members and coaches of the 2024 Boston Celtics on their outstanding achievement, acknowledging their contributions to the sport of basketball, and do hereby further call on all citizens of Keene and the greater Monadnock region to join me in saluting them for their well-deserved championship title for their successes.
Thanks.
Yes. Please convey our sentiment to Coach Mazzulla.
Joe Mazzulla is obviously occupied, but I, like Joe Mazzulla, am a Rhode Island native in my 30s, so you got me right here in Keene. So here I am to accept your proclamation.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for having me in Keene.
Yes, it's a pleasure. We look forward to watching your team perform again. You're needing to step in the shoes that have high marks of excellence, and I'm sure you're going to help the team sustain that over time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
You did?
All right. Moving right along to the presentation for this evening, and the last visioning session for Keene 20 Forward will be held tomorrow, but tonight we have in our chambers our consultant lead from Future IQ, and Jesse Rounds, Community Development, who's been leading the staff effort on the visioning process and the rewrite of our 2010 master plan. So I'll turn this over to Jesse. Please introduce David to the team.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Jesse Rounds, Community Development Director, and I really just briefly want to introduce David Burrell, Head of Future IQ. The team has been helping us leading a number of sessions, the think tank session, was it 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
And then visioning sessions all this week, and I'm sure he'll talk about that. But this process started back in February and will be going on for about 18 months. So you will be hearing more from us. But with that,
Okay, thank you, Jesse. Mayor, Council, great to be here. Thank you for the invitation. Good to see some of you. I met some of you, some I've not met before, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here. And I do hope through the course of this exercise I get to meet you several times, right? Because this is a really important conversation in the community. If I could, I just want to take a few moments and sort of set the context for what I think we're probing, because obviously the outcome of this is going to be your comprehensive master plan and a land use plan, and you'd be familiar with all those sort of features. I think the way this project is evolving is that it really is a big conversation about where does Keene fit into the future. And we have a steering committee that I know as council you appointed, and they've been really helpful in terms of kind of pushing on this idea of a meaningful conversation, thinking about what does the future look like, where does Keene fit into that, and how do you navigate your way through, you know, a series of really important external trends that are shaping both your community but New England and the world in some cases. So we're fairly early in the process, so we're several months in. So I can't really talk about results because we're still very much in this exploration phase of trying to understand what is the vision for the future that people want. We'll be drawing that to a conclusion with a future summit in October, and then we'll be turning our sort of attention more to the technical aspects of the master plan, which is sort of thinking about, okay, if this is our vision, how do we get there? What do we need to be doing? Right now, we're really probing, you know, what are the big themes that people think are shaping the future? What's their appetite for change? Sort of starting to think about, well, what is this preferred future we want? I think the issue about appetite for change is really important here because that's always the pushback. You know, you can kind of have a lofty vision, but when it comes down to the reality of implementing, that's trade-offs and so on. We are getting a lot of voices into the process, and that's one of the commitments, is to have a very open and transparent process. So we have the project website, all the material gets loaded there, results from surveys are posted pretty much, you know, straight away. Outcomes from workshops and workshop slide decks, all that's going up there for people to look at. In terms of numbers, we had just about 650 people take the first survey, which, yes, it was better than last time, so that was, you know, we were pleased about that. But really what it's about giving people in this community a chance to weigh in and be architects of their own future. The think tank, we had 60 people who devoted a significant portion of 2 days to take a big deep dive into the future. Really good cross-section of people who sort of have organisational roles and represent different voices in the community. And as Jesse said, we've been running these community visioning sessions this week. This is the first phase of those. You know, we do hope to have those run right through September, almost up to that future summit. Already we've probably had, this week, we've probably had 120 people participate. And I know those numbers aren't huge compared to your population, but I always think of it as a sort of a bit of a moving ball, right? And we're sort of gathering momentum and more people connect to it and find out about it. I think we're also trying to reach out to people through a lot of different mechanisms. We send out e-newsletters and we post material through the city on their platforms and so on. So that's the sort of mechanics of it. Just perhaps a final comment, Mayor, if I could offer this. I've got to say I'm really excited about this conversation. You know, I do think this is a community that is really quite unique. And clearly I'm not from here, right? And I work all across this country and in parts of Europe as well. But I do think you have something here that is really quite extraordinary. And I think people understand that in the community. And if I look at the surveys and I listen to the conversations, people understand that, that's why they're here, but they're also very concerned about what the next 10 and 20 years look like. You know, they're concerned about the challenge of affordability, housing stocks, they're concerned about young people leaving, concerned about what are the sort of jobs of the future. So we're really presenting this as an opportunity for people to kind of wrestle with some of those concerns and sort of start to craft a vision for the future that gives people that sort of guiding light. I do think this could be really quite a remarkable process for this community. So I thank you for the opportunity to be part of it.
Thank you. Do you need anything further from us tonight? I know you handed out the source of the handout
Yes.
that structures the conversation that you're having
Yes.
during the visioning sessions. I thought it was a good synopsis of the final results of the visioning session, the two-day session that
The
we
think
had
tank, yeah.
recently. And I mean, you want to just make a reference to it as to how you're employing it?
Yeah, sure, thank you. So you're referring to the 11 by 17
Yep.
flyer. So in the centerfold of that, you'll see a sort of big coloured box. And the process of the think tank really identified that if you were to think about what are the big themes that are shaping the future here that we need to explore, there's two that make up the axes of that box. And what we're trying to understand is how the community evolution plays out and how the development trajectory in this community plays out. And what we mean by community evolution is thinking about, when you have a place that's really great like this, the temptation is to keep it the way it is, because it's familiar, it's comfortable, people like it, that's why they came here or why they stay here. But the other end of that continuum is we're also exploring, well, what if we sort of work to solve the big challenges, if we really think about how do we collaborate to adapt for the future. So think of those as continuums, and we're playing out what are the implications of going different directions and where's people's appetite on that. The other one is the development trajectory, and that's all about things like infrastructure and economic development and the amenities in the community and so on, types of jobs and things like that. And one is, this is really actually quite an interesting one for council, I think, because we're teasing out, do people want to have a sort of steady and sort of, I guess, cautious approach, or do we want to seize the moment? So we're sort of testing appetite with people about, where do they want to head, right? And those two axes are really fundamental to the community and to the comprehensive master plan, because they're all about how do you evolve your community, how do you tackle the challenges of development? How do you, as a